Mitchell.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I take a rather different view from the honourable gentleman from Glasgow North, but I want to draw the House's attention to my outside interests and also to make clear that I think this is a most important piece of legislation, and I completely agree with the aims of the Home Office. I congratulate the Home Secretary on her vigorous attempts to remedy a serious problem. I want just to raise three brief points. The first is to point out to the House that where the Right Honourable Member for Hayes and Harlington and my Right Honourable friend for South Swindon agree so clearly, the government should indeed think carefully about whether they can move on the issue of 12 months down to 6 months. The two Lords' amendments I particularly want to raise, where I think they would improve the bill, are those tabled by Lord Kirkhope of Harrogate. And I think they should be given very serious consideration. Lord Kirkhope was Michael Howard, the former Home Secretary's immigration minister in John Major's government, both much respected and on the right of the Conservative Party. I submit that our former colleague Lord Kirkhope's views are an important contribution to this debate. Furthermore, Lord Kirkhope has a long-standing interest and expertise in the handling of population movement in Europe from Calais to Moscow. In respect of the First Amendment, Amendment 11, my Right Honourable friend for Ashford has already made very clear the huge benefits that would come in if this were agreed. It is designed to break the people smugglers' business model. The government is quite right. People fleeing terror and persecution should only come here by safe and legal routes, but we will only stop people in desperation coming over the channel, i.e. set up the settlement pathway the Home Office rightly refers to, and break the smugglers' model, if first we have accessible and meaningful numbers, and second, we are not restricted to one geographic area. The Home Office confirms that 7% of the 28,000 arriving illicitly in 2021 came from Iran, Iraq, Syria and Yemen, for whom there is currently no alternative legal and safe route to which they can apply to get to the United Kingdom. Endorsing resettlement is central to the government's new approach set out in the new plan for immigration, but ministers have yet to bring forward any provision in legislation that would see the necessary safe and legal routes made available. It is rarely popular, Madam Deputy Speaker, among Conservatives to talk of specific targets. Any figure can be changed up or down by the government to reflect international circumstances. I fear we must do so if the government's laudable aim of stemming the dangerous flow of desperate people across the Channel, exploited by evil traffickers, is to stop. The figure of 10,000 suggested by Lord Kirkhope is 15 per parliamentary constituency or 5 families per local authority. The amendment makes clear this is inclusive, not in addition to the Afghan refugees, and having a target would enable local authorities to plan in a coordinated manner, as has already been referred to in this debate, and avoid the current system where so many Afghans who we want to help are currently waiting to move out of inappropriate accommodation. Finally, on Amendment 9 and offshoring, this is the issue Lord Kirkhope looked at so comprehensively before and reluctantly rejected. The Home Office is asking Parliament to grant them this power when they have no idea where they would exercise it, when they could exercise it, or if they can exercise it. We know that it would be incredibly expensive. Judged by the costs of Australian offshoring, the British taxpayer would face unprecedented costs per asylum seeker. It would be much cheaper to put each one in the Ritz and send all the under-18s to Eton. That would cost a great deal less than what is currently proposed. Much more sensible, Madam Deputy Speaker, to recruit and train several hundred new civil servants to process these claims more rapidly, and yes, to crack down on an over-lengthy appeals process exploited through unscrupulous lawyers.
Tahir Ali.